What is a mutation? A. A sudden change in an organism's genetic material. B. The process of natural selection. C. The movement of organisms from one place to another. D. The process of genetic recombination. The correct answer is A. A mutation is a sudden change in an organism's genetic material. Which of the following can cause mutations? A. Chemicals. B. Radiation. C. Errors in DNA replication. D. All of the above. The correct answer is D. Chemicals, radiation, and errors in DNA replication can all cause mutations. What is genetic variation? A. The similarity between individuals in a population. B. The differences in DNA sequences among individuals in a population. C. The rate of mutation in a population. D. The movement of alleles between populations. The correct answer is B. Genetic variation refers to the differences in DNA sequences among individuals within a population. Which of the following is a requirement for Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? A. Small population size. B. Mutations. C. Random mating. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is C. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium requires random mating within a population. Speciation is the process by which A. Individuals within a population become more similar. B. New species evolve from existing species. C. Mutations are eliminated from a population. D. Population size decreases over time. The correct answer is B. Speciation is the process by which new species evolve from existing species. Which type of speciation occurs when a physical barrier divides a population into two or more groups that can no longer interbreed? A. Allopatric speciation. B. Sympatric speciation. C. Parapatric speciation. D. Peripatric speciation. The correct answer is A. Allopatric speciation occurs when a physical barrier divides a population into two or more groups that can no longer interbreed. Which of the following can lead to genetic drift? A. Natural selection. B. Large population size. C. Bottleneck effect. D. High gene flow. The correct answer is C. The bottleneck effect is a type of genetic drift that can occur when a population is drastically reduced in size. The founder effect is an example of A. Gene flow. B. Mutations. C. Genetic drift. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is C. The founder effect is an example of genetic drift, where a small group of individuals establishes a new population with a limited gene pool. What is reproductive isolation? A. The inability of two populations to interbreed. B. The process of genetic recombination. C. The movement of alleles between populations. D. The process of natural selection. The correct answer is A. Reproductive isolation refers to the inability of two populations to interbreed, leading to the formation of new species. Which term describes the occurrence of more than one form of a gene in a population? A. Allelic frequency. B. Genetic drift. C. Genetic variation. D. Speciation. The correct answer is C. Genetic variation refers to the presence of different alleles, or forms of genes, in a population. What is the primary source of genetic variation in a population? A. Mutation. B. Natural selection. C. Gene flow. D. Genetic drift. The correct answer is A. Mutations are the ultimate source of new genetic variation. Allopatric speciation occurs as a result of A. Geographic isolation. B. Behavioral differences. C. Genetic drift. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is A. Allopatric speciation occurs when a physical barrier divides a population. Which event involves the transfer of genes between two populations by the movement of individuals? A. Genetic drift. B. Founder effect. C. Speciation. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is D. Gene flow is the transfer of alleles between populations by the movement of individuals. Genetic drift causes allele frequency changes in a population due to A. Migration. B. Natural selection. C. Small population size. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is C. Genetic drift is more pronounced in small populations. Which of the following can lead to the bottleneck effect in a population? A. High gene flow. B. Small population size. C. Allopatric speciation. D. Mutation. The correct answer is B. The bottleneck effect occurs due to a significant reduction in population size. Sympatric speciation occurs when A. A physical barrier divides a population. B. Different behaviors lead to reproductive isolation. C. A new species forms in the same geographic area. D. Gene flow between populations is uninterrupted. The correct answer is C. Sympatric speciation occurs without physical barriers within the same geographic area. A species split into separate populations, evolving independently and accumulating genetic differences over time, is an example of A. Allopatric speciation. B. Sympatric speciation. C. Genetic drift. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is A. Allopatric speciation occurs due to geographic isolation, leading to genetic differences. What is a gene mutation that involves the insertion or deletion of a nucleotide in the DNA sequence called? A. Substitution. B. Deletion. C. Insertion. D. Frameshift. The correct answer is D. Frameshift mutations occur when nucleotides are inserted or deleted in the DNA sequence, causing a shift in the reading frame. Which type of selection maintains genetic diversity by selecting against the average phenotype? A. Stabilizing selection. B. Directional selection. C. Disruptive selection. D. Balancing selection. The correct answer is C. Disruptive selection favors individuals at both extremes of the phenotypic range, maintaining genetic diversity in a population. Which of the following mechanisms of evolution involves mating preferences based on specific traits? A. Mutation. B. Genetic drift. C. Natural selection. D. Sexual selection. The correct answer is D. Sexual selection is a mechanism of evolution that involves the selection of traits based on mating preferences. What type of speciation occurs when new species evolve without a physical barrier, often due to ecological or behavioral factors? A. Allopatric speciation. B. Peripatric speciation. C. Sympatric speciation. D. Parapatric speciation. The correct answer is C. Sympatric speciation occurs when new species evolve in the same geographic area without a physical barrier, driven by ecological or behavioral factors. Which of the following evolutionary forces can introduce new genetic variation into a population? A. Gene flow. B. Genetic drift. C. Natural selection. D. Mutation. The correct answer is D. Mutation is a source of new genetic variation in populations, introducing novel alleles into the gene pool. In the context of speciation, what term describes the process where two populations diverging from a common ancestor can no longer interbreed successfully? A. Hybridization. B. Reinforcement. C. Reproductive isolation. D. Polyploidy. The correct answer is C. Reproductive isolation occurs when two populations become genetically isolated and can no longer produce viable offspring when they come into contact. Which mechanism of evolution involves changes in allele frequencies due to random events in small populations? A. Natural selection. B. Migration. C. Genetic drift. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is C. Genetic drift refers to changes in allele frequencies in small populations due to random events, which can lead to a loss of genetic diversity. Which of the following mechanisms of evolution involves the movement of individuals between different populations, leading to a mixing of gene pools? A. Mutation. B. Genetic drift. C. Gene flow. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is C. Gene flow occurs when individuals migrate between populations, bringing genetic material with them and impacting the gene pool of each population. What type of genetic variation involves two or more versions of a gene existing within a population? A. Point mutation. B. Gene duplication. C. Allelic variation. D. Chromosomal rearrangement. The correct answer is C. Allelic variation refers to different versions of a gene within a population. This contributes to genetic diversity. In the context of speciation, what term describes the process where two populations can interbreed, but don't, due to differences in mating behavior or preferences? A. Temporal isolation. B. Habitat isolation. C. Behavioral isolation. D. Mechanical isolation. The correct answer is C. Behavioral isolation refers to a lack of mating between two populations due to differences in behaviors or preferences, even if they could technically interbreed. Which evolutionary force, also known as the founder effect, occurs when a small group starts a new population with different genes than the original? A. Genetic drift. B. Gene flow. C. Mutation. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is A. Genetic drift, specifically the founder effect, leads to genetic differences between the original and new populations, due to the small size and genetic makeup of the founding group. What is the term for the creation of a new species through the gradual accumulation of genetic differences and reproductive isolation over time? A. Speciation. B. Mutation. C. Genetic drift. D. Polyploidy. The correct answer is A. Speciation is the process by which new species arise, often involving the development of reproductive barriers and genetic divergence within populations. Which of the following events results in a sharp reduction of a population's size, potentially leading to the loss of genetic variation and increased genetic drift? A. Gene flow. B. Mutation. C. Stabilizing selection. D. Bottleneck effect. The correct answer is D. The bottleneck effect happens when a population shrinks dramatically. This limits genetic diversity and makes genetic drift a bigger factor in allele frequencies. What is the term for the separation of a population into two or more separate groups by a physical barrier, leading to the formation of new species over time? A. Sympatric speciation. B. Allopatric speciation. C. Parapatric speciation. D. Peripatric speciation. The correct answer is B. Allopatric speciation happens when a physical barrier splits a population, preventing gene flow. This eventually leads to new species forming along separate evolutionary paths. Which genetic mechanism can result in the duplication of entire chromosomes, leading to increased genetic variation within a population? A. Gene flow. B. Chromosomal rearrangement. C. Mutation. D. Balancing selection. The correct answer is B. Chromosomal rearrangements, such as duplications, deletions, or inversions of chromosome segments, can create genetic variations within a population by altering gene dosage and expression patterns. What type of genetic variation involves changes in a single nucleotide base pair within a DNA sequence, potentially leading to altered protein function or gene expression? A. Insertion mutation. B. Point mutation. C. Gene duplication. D. Inversion mutation. The correct answer is B. Point mutations are changes in a single nucleotide base pair. These changes can have various effects on the resulting protein structure or gene function, contributing to genetic diversity. Which of the following can contribute to genetic variation in a population by rearranging existing genetic material within the genome? A. Mutation. B. Gene flow. C. Chromosomal duplication. D. Genetic drift. The correct answer is C. Chromosomal duplication can lead to increased genetic variation by creating extra copies of genes within an organism's genome. In the context of speciation, what term describes the process where two populations evolve distinct mating behaviors, preventing successful interbreeding even if physical barriers are removed? A. Prezygotic isolation. B. Allopatric speciation. C. Parapatric speciation. D. Sympatric speciation. The correct answer is A. Prezygotic isolation refers to barriers that prevent mating or fertilization between individuals of different species, such as differences in mating behaviors. Which of the following evolutionary forces can introduce new genetic variation into a population by bringing in alleles from external sources? A. Mutation. B. Genetic drift. C. Natural selection. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is D. Gene flow involves the transfer of genes between populations, introducing new genetic variation into a population. Which of the following is an example of a postzygotic barrier to reproduction where offspring from different species are inviable or sterile? A. Temporal isolation. B. Behavioral isolation. C. Hybrid inviability. D. Habitat isolation. The correct answer is C. Hybrid inviability is a postzygotic barrier to reproduction resulting in offspring unable to survive or reproduce. Which process involves the gradual accumulation of genetic differences and reproductive isolation between two populations, eventually leading to the formation of new species? A. Genetic drift. B. Gene flow. C. Speciation. D. Mutation. The correct answer is C. Speciation is the process by which new species evolve due to the accumulation of genetic differences and reproductive isolation over time. Which of the following can lead to genetic drift, especially in small populations where chance events are important? A. Natural selection. B. Mutation. C. Bottleneck effect. D. Gene flow. The correct answer is C. The bottleneck effect, a sharp reduction in population size, increases the impact of genetic drift on allele frequencies. Which type of speciation occurs when new species evolve within the same geographic area, often due to differences in ecological niches or mating behaviors? A. Sympatric speciation. B. Parapatric speciation. C. Peripatric speciation. D. Allopatric speciation. The correct answer is A. Sympatric speciation occurs without a physical barrier, allowing new species to evolve in the same geographic area. Which of the following can contribute to genetic variation by altering allele frequencies in a population through random processes, particularly in small populations? A. Gene flow. B. Mutation. C. Natural selection. D. Genetic drift. The correct answer is D. Genetic drift causes allele frequency changes due to random events. This is especially important in small populations, where chance has a bigger impact on genetic changes. Which type of mutation involves substituting one nucleotide base for another in the DNA sequence? A. Frameshift mutation. B. Missense mutation. C. Silent mutation. D. Point mutation. The correct answer is D. A point mutation is a type of mutation where a single nucleotide base in the DNA sequence is replaced with another. This can change the resulting protein, or it might have no effect at all, depending on the specific base substitution. What is the evolutionary process where new species form because of geographic isolation causing genetic differences? A. Sympatric evolution. B. Allopatric speciation. C. Parapatric speciation. D. Peripatric speciation. The correct answer is B. Allopatric speciation happens when a physical barrier, like a mountain range or river, splits a population. These isolated groups can no longer breed with each other. Over time, their genes become different, creating new species. What is the term for random changes in allele frequencies in a population due to chance events, especially in small populations? A. Genetic recombination. B. Gene flow. C. Genetic drift. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is C. Genetic drift refers to random changes in allele frequencies in a population due to chance events. Particularly in small populations, where genetic diversity can be more easily affected by random sampling. Which of the following increases genetic variation in a population by adding new alleles from outside sources? A. Genetic drift. B. Natural selection. C. Gene flow. D. Bottleneck effect. The correct answer is C. Gene flow involves the movement of individuals between different populations, leading to the transfer of alleles and genetic variation. It can introduce new alleles into a population and maintain genetic diversity. What type of selection favors individuals with intermediate phenotypes and can contribute to maintaining genetic diversity within a population? A. Directional selection. B. Stabilizing selection. C. Disruptive selection. D. Sexual selection. The correct answer is B. Stabilizing selection favors individuals with intermediate phenotypes, reducing variation around the mean, and maintaining genetic diversity within a population by selecting against extreme phenotypes. In what type of speciation do new species evolve within the same geographic area, often due to ecological or behavioral factors rather than physical barriers? A. Parapatric speciation. B. Allopatric speciation. C. Sympatric speciation. D. Peripatric speciation. The correct answer is C. Sympatric speciation occurs when new species evolve within the same geographic area, often due to ecological or behavioral factors, without physical barriers dividing the population. What is the evolutionary force where a small group starts a new population with different genes than the original? A. Founder effect. B. Genetic drift. C. Gene flow. D. Natural selection. The correct answer is A. The founder effect happens when a small group starts a new population. This new group has a different gene mix than the original population. This leads to genetic differences and possible genetic drift. What genetic mechanism can result in the duplication of entire genes or segments of DNA, leading to increased genetic variation within a population? A. Point mutation. B. Chromosomal rearrangement. C. Gene flow. D. Genetic drift. The correct answer is B. Chromosomal rearrangement is a genetic mechanism that can result in the duplication of entire genes or segments of DNA, leading to increased genetic variation within a population. What's the process where one species splits into two or more? This often happens because of differences in genes and the groups can no longer breed together. A. Mutation. B. Gene flow. C. Speciation. D. Genetic drift. The correct answer is C. Speciation is the process by which a single species evolves into two or more separate species due to genetic divergence and reproductive isolation. Which type of speciation occurs when new species evolve within the same geographic area, often due to ecological or behavioral factors, rather than physical barriers? A. Allopatric speciation. B. Parapatric speciation. C. Peripatric speciation. D. Sympatric speciation. The correct answer is D. Sympatric speciation is the type of speciation where new species evolve within the same geographic area, often due to ecological or behavioral factors rather than physical barriers.